Before we will try to comment the game, we need an explanation what the crosscut is and how it appears on the board. Usually, for a crosscut to happen, you need an attachment. And this already creates a very urgent situation because we have two stones in a direct contact and each of them has only 3 liberties. So it's like 99 times out of 100 you want to play somewhere near these stones. Here I guess we need a little clarification because I'm saying things like 99 times out of 100. But the game of Go is a long game, usually it takes well over 200 moves. So I don't mean that such moves are impossible or to be avoided at all costs. I mean only that they are really rare. They can happen because of a core or because something bigger happens on the board. But usually you want to reply to an attachment, and there are two ways of doing it. One way, the peaceful way, is to extend. It basically safeguards your stones, safeguards any territory that is somewhere on the other side. For example, if we have this situation, normal corner enclosure, and the other player attaches. Now the usual sequence is something like this. Here, 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 attacking this stone, defending, and black jumps here or here, depends what's the best for him in the situation. But sometimes it happens that we don't really want to play all these moves which, sure, they keep our corner intact, they grab a lot of territory, but at the same time they allow black stones to become stronger. Sometimes when we don't want it, we defend like this. And usually black just jumps, keeping this stone light. So in many situations, a play like this has its use, but usually when we play we want to fight, and the most fighting move against an attachment is Xie Ke. We just enclose the opposing stone, and it has only 2 liberties now. And now it's white's turn to decide. One possibility is to run away, but a small problem with this move is that the opponent can continue like this, and now it's like he played a Xie Ke against 2 stones. This looks exactly like this kind of move. And this is a move we learned to prevent, so we don't want to end up as white in this situation. So the other possibility is the crosscut. And what happens now? Now the situation is even more urgent than it was when the stones went next to each other. Now we have 4 stones in direct contact, and each of them has only 2 liberties. So it's even more urgent for the side caught in a crosscut to play right here and right now. And what are the choices? Of course, there are many symmetries in this position, and sometimes it's better to play this way, sometimes it's better to play this way, sometimes it's better to play to the center. But usual response is that from a crosscut we want to extend. Why is this? It's of course really tempting to play an Atari first, but we force the opponent to extend, to play a good move. And then our stones are very thin. Our stones are really susceptible to an attack. So, sooner or later, we will want to defend them. But because we played here, because we forced white to extend, now white has a great move. And this stone can be caught in a ladder. with a capture on the next move. And this ladder is possible only because we force the opponent to make a good move. So the good way of thinking right now is that we wanted to play here. Let's play it immediately. Now white has a problem because this stone can be caught in a ladder depending on the exact position, depending whether there are some stones like here. If this ladder works for black, then white should defend, and it creates another ladder threat. So right now black wants to defend as well, and it's white's turn to escape from the ladder. Now the crosscut transformed into so-called windmill position, which contains 4 groups, 2 black groups and 2 white groups, locked in a fight. Black can then try to make a base here, simultaneously attacking these stones. White can think, well, these stones are weak, I need to defend them, and the fight spills over the entire board. Such situation can even happen in a Joseki. And now white is afraid that these stones can be lost, so he safeguards them. Black safeguards these stones. White probably looks for a move which simultaneously defends these stones and attacks these black groups, or plays something like that. Black plays an attachment. White defends, black defends. White plays here. I'm not really sure that I remember the whole sequence correctly, and the situation is still unsettled. Still we need to play some moves, but I show it only to present you the kind of fight that can be caused by playing a windmill. And yet this fight, as difficult as it is, sometimes is the safest course. Because one thing you don't want to do with this formation, with a crosscut, is to play one Atari and to play the second Atari. Now black ends up with 2 sets of weak stones, and white can cut at will. If black defends one side, there is a cut on the other, and these stones are in a real danger. So we don't want to get ourselves cut and to play this Atari on 2 sides. What we might sometimes want is playing Atari here, playing another one here, and safeguarding these stones. Depending on the position, we can do it like this, or like this. But we need to be sure that we agree to lose this stone, because the opponent can easily catch it, get a beautiful formation which radiates the influence towards the center and is at least as good as the area that we obtained here. So these are the basics of a crosscut, and knowing all of this, we can finally comment on the game. It's Zhao Chenyu versus Xie Ke. It's black's move, and black decided to attack this string of stones. Now, because black has really solid position here, there are no real forcing moves against this. Whatever white plays, black has a reply for it. So another idea is escaping. But this also doesn't look great, because black can press against this group, then extend, and you see a real nice big box forming here. Of course, white should not allow this scenario to happen, so he chooses to fight. And black needs to fight back, because playing a simple move like this is not an option. White simply goes here and then improves his shape. Now white can either slide into the corner or jump here. Black cannot take these options away, both of them at the same time, so it means that white group is perfectly safe. If extension doesn't work, then another obvious choice for black is Hane. And now it's white's turn to avoid two complacent moves, because, for example, this would mean that white group is still unsettled and black is able to solidify his box. So what about something softer, like here? No, it's even worse result. What about going down? Black can do the same, and admittedly white group is stronger than in the previous variations, but so the wall of the black box is stronger too. So this is not an interesting result for white. If this is the case, then white needs to fight, and the obvious way to fight is a crosscut. After everything we told about this position, a good guess for black would be to fall back, to extend. Now, I must say that white's continuation is not too obvious, because doing anything like this, making the group alive, allows black to create a beautiful shape, again making a box perhaps a bit smaller at the bottom but much stronger at the top. So we don't want this scenario. What about a little more gentler approach? No, it doesn't work either, because black just catches this stone in leather and his shape is also very good. So how should white react here? Sherlock Holmes once said that once we have eliminated the impossible, then whatever remains, however improbable, is true. And the move for white, the move which is perhaps not obvious at the first sight, is here. Of course, black doesn't want this stone to be lost for nothing, so he extends. And white extends again. Because of a shortage of liberties, this group has only two, black cannot really cut. So these stones are as good as connected. Right now black should build his box, like in the previous lines. Perhaps with this move, perhaps this one would be even better. But we see that the box is smaller than in the previous variations, and that the white's group is much stronger. So there is only one more question. Can't black just take this stone? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, it will not escape. But no, it's not a good idea. Black gets into Atari, and his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stones take only 4 points, which is a disastrous result. So we see that after extending this move from the top and something like that is a correct line of play. But black for some reason didn't like this outcome, and he played here. White goes back, black plays an Atari, white extends, black connects. And of course, it's a sacrificial play. This stone is either lost or saving it does not make sense anymore. Black has built his box, smaller than in the previous variations, but still sufficient. So this result is good for both sides, and now probably we should play somewhere else. White played here, and the game continued. Thank you for listening about the crosscut. I hope this knowledge will bring you many good moves and many victories.